What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the crew 2, and in this video I am revisiting the KTM X-Bow R Spear Racing ED. I would probably say a lot of players are most likely going to want to pick this car up now that it is available for bucks. Do keep in mind you guys can also get the lovely Yas design, which looks awesome. Unfortunately, the performance of that car isn't the greatest, so I would probably say a lot of players are most likely going to buy these cars for collection purposes. But the KTM X-Bow R Spear Racing does look awesome, especially compared to the regular one. I really do love the way the body of this car is designed, guys. Like, it looks so dang good. I really do like the way, like, the carbon fiber basically wraps around it. I like the way the exhaust look on the back, plus that wing. And you also see, like, the different colors of the actual livery, which you guys can remove it, which if you were to do that, you're basically going to have, a plain white and or green car, which honestly does look great. I actually don't think I've ever taken the livery off this vehicle, but let's add this back here. But overall though, guys, I do think a lot of players are really going to like the Spear Racing, so there's a few things I do want to go over with this car though. Yes, this thing is going to be back into the game now. It was out a long time ago. I have to admit one thing, guys. I did notice a lot of players most likely wanted this car back in the day because I did notice on most of the leaderboards, at least before the Alpha GP handling update, this car was basically the king. I would honestly say that's most likely going to be different now, but don't worry, guys. I will jump more into that here in a quick second, but the overall look of this car is by far going to be one of the better looking Alpha GP cars, at least for its size, because it will end up being the smallest Alpha GP car, which I do know a lot of players also argue that the KTM X-Bow shouldn't even be in this class for that matter. I would like to know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But when I was doing a top speed test run on this car though, guys, I was actually very surprised. And the main reason why I say this though is after that one handling update, I did notice many of the Alpha GP cars do tend to be much faster. And I would say a lot of players most likely notice like every car is like the Red Bulls and or even like the Alpha Mark X, for example, now doing around 300 miles per hour. Well, guys, it does turn out the KTM X-Bow R Spear Racing only does around 278 or so miles an hour, so it's immediately going to be around 20 miles per hour slower than the regular Alpha GP cars, and almost 40 miles per hour slower than the new cars that were added, so this thing is by far not going to be like the fastest Alpha GP car in the game, but luckily that's not really going to matter though, because yes, this car is smaller, so it's going to have a lot more agility, at least you would think it does. I did notice though, guys, even on the racetracks after that update though, I would say it's not really going to matter. And the main reason for this though, guys, is going to be like, for example, the RB14 and or the Proto Mark II are going to be so much better now than how they were before, especially after that update. They also both do 300 miles an hour, so it's going to make them quicker, and they also basically handle on a dime even on the track, so I would most likely say the KTM X-Bow is most likely going to fall behind. And one thing I did notice though, guys, back in the day, the KTM X-Bows were by far like some of the best Alpha GP cars you could ever use on basically escapes or like the regular events that did show up in summits. Like, I don't remember actually seeing anything being used but like a KTM X-Bow, and I would definitely say, guys, now that's by far going to be much different. Now we have a lot more cars that can actually be used and or in some ways are much better. I really do feel like the RB14 and or like the Proto Mark II are most likely going to eat this car on the racetrack now, even though this thing is much smaller. I really don't think that's going to affect how those cars do handle, and their overall speed is obviously going to be 20 miles per hour faster, so it really is going to put the KTM at one slight disadvantage. And one thing I did notice, guys, if you did want to use this car on the new racetracks, do keep in mind though, with the lower top speed of this car, it's by far going to be slower, even with the boosters on the racetracks as well, so I would definitely avoid this car in those newer events. But even then though, I would still say you can definitely run this car in summits. Sure, it's not like the best thing as it was before. It's still going to be a great car overall. At least it is still going to be a fun and or usable car. It's just not going to be like the fastest thing out there, at least when it does come to its overall top speed. But I would like to know your thoughts on the KTM X-Bow R Spear Racing ED in the comments below. And are you guys planning on running this car once again after it is available for bucks? I would probably say it's still a decent car overall, but let's be honest though, many of the Alpha GP cars are definitely better than they were before. And as always, guys, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more insight.